Welcome to the Art Colony, a podcast about art and art history in Provincetown. My name is Gaston Lacombe. There's often a perception that art needs to be serious, that art needs to be looked at solemnly, to be analyzed and dissected in big multisyllabic words, with a somber look on your face. The portraits need to be stern, the landscapes have to be perfect, and the compositions need to be full of symbolism. However, is there any reason that a painting can't depict a toucan with a watermelon balancing on its beak? Or a UFO landing on an RV? Or a station wagon riding up the back of a giant jackrabbit? Why not? Why not make art playful, nonsensical, and just fun? Well, that is what our guest today has been doing for the last few decades, ingesting some quirkiness in the Provincetown art scene. But he also recently undertook a very serious commitment to maintain and preserve one of Provincetown's most iconic and whimsical buildings, the Land's End Inn. So let's welcome to the Art Colony podcast, Trevor Mikula.
Hi.
Nice to see you, Trevor.
You too, Gaston.
I've been trying to get you on since the summer.
I'm a tough one.
Yeah, you are. You're busy.
Yes.
So tell our listeners, who is Trevor?
Oh, this reminds me of a friend of mine, Delia. She said, Trevor, you're crazy. And I said, you know what they say about crazy? It's better than being boring.
Well, that's true.
So, I would say I'm a very lovable, bon vivant human being who loves art.
And where do we find your origins?
I grew up in rural Tennessee, very country. My class was 10 people. One was my twin brother, 8 girls. One would drive a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, it was very rural. It was just starting to become like a factory town that my father worked at. And so over time, it's just become like a suburb of Nashville, but it was very rustic.
And was art present at that moment in your house?
It was, at least for me. When I was 5, my grandfather gave me a book called How to Draw Animals. And so this is like just silly. Like I would copy these animals onto like giant pieces of butcher paper and then roll them up, take them to kindergarten and sell them until I got busted with $20.
Wait, you had
and that was the beginnings of my
You had like 4-year-old kids giving you $20.
Oh yeah. It's like, give me your lunch money. Here's a giraffe.
Well, I mean, they can treasure it now.
Yeah.
It's precious now.
Yeah. Now I can't work a computer.
Well, how many of those did you sell when you were a kid?
Oh, a lot.
Wow, so you've been like marketing your art for a long
Yeah,
time.
I'm a full-on businesswoman.
So how did this become a profession?
Well, I mean, I just constantly was painting and drawing and worked in a zillion different jobs at the grocery store, at Target. Like, I think I worked at Target 20 times. Yeah, I ended up in a restaurant. My boss, Chris, caught me sitting at the table with my friends who I'd invited in to come have dinner, drinking wine and eating off their plates. And he's like, you're a horrible, horrible server. And you can paint and you need to move on and paint. And literally from that day on, he let me put my paintings in the restaurant and I didn't work there ever again. And I've been a patron many times.
Well, good.
So yeah, and really since then, so it's been painting full time for 24 years since then.
So if somebody has never seen a painting by Trevor Mikula, tell us what they look like.
To be honest, I think we have a very similar style.
Kinda.
Yeah, like we both we're very colorful, but then take details and bring them down into a very 2D, two-dimensional aspect. I know that we have different styles, but it's kind of neat to see the similarities between that. But yeah, very whimsical, kind of anything that pops into my head and makes me laugh. There's a lot of times where I'm asleep and wake up laughing and have to put a note into my phone. Like, a lot of it is I'll come up with a title before I do the painting. Just something that I think is funny. And then later will be like, what can I do for this?
So as I said at the very beginning, I just looking rapidly through your Instagram page, there was a toucan
Mhm.
balancing a piece of watermelon on its beak. There was a UFO landing on an RV and all sorts of whimsical stuff like that. So where did these images come from?
Probably from, weed.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm extremely imaginative and have always been like that, and I think one of the other things about my childhood is I grew up with no TV and still really don't watch television, and so, yeah, it promotes and fuels creativity to like, you're always thinking and using your brain instead of letting somebody else do that for you. Yeah.
And you said that you wake up and write things down. That was one of my questions. Like, do you write all these ideas down and then just go, "Oh well, today I guess I'm gonna paint a dinosaur who farts" or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like
Well, I
that?
actually have a note that's a Rollersaurus, so it's a dinosaur on roller
Uh
skates.
huh.
It's not done yet, but
So you
it's
do
up
keep
here.
like a
Yeah.
running list of all the ideas you
Oh,
might want to put
yeah.
out
Yeah, yeah.
there.
Yeah, and they're all, like, little loose notes kind of all over the studio and in drawers and in the phone. And a lot of stuff too, I think is really neat that I can look back and see similarities to the things that like, the doodles that I was doing on my homework in 5th and 6th grade is manifesting itself into my work now, which is just really amazing.
Don't take us the wrong way, but there's a childish playfulness
I
about your
love
work.
that,
Well,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Why
people
not? If you can be a child all your life, do it.
and that's the way also people react to work very much when they look at it, they feel like they're, getting in touch with their inner child.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the point of it. I think we're just bombarded with so much bad news and so much like responsibilities. And if you can let go for even a second and see things in a different light or something that makes you happy and joyous, go for it. I mean, a lot of the people that purchase my work, that is their comment is, I look at this every single day and it brings me joy. How can you say no to that?
And would you say
Like,
that's one of your goals as an artist, to create joy?
definitely, yeah. I mean, it starts out as something for myself personally, and if I can make money or provide that to somebody else, yes, please.
And your titles are wonderful as well. I have a little painting from you at home. There's only so much I can afford. And
Same.
it's a painting of a chickadee, and it's called Chickadee Doodah.
Dibbity day.
Tell us about how you make up all these titles.
Oh gosh, I'm just always thinking like that. Yeah, always in my head. I love rhyming. I'm very good with words. I've always been very good and thoughtful about what I want to say and write down. And then when I do that, it's really amazing to go back and see that stuff. It's the same with like the doodles and the way I work. I can either start with a title or start with a painting and then title that backwards, and it's all stuff to make me laugh.
Well, tell us about the way you work. Every artist has a different, rhythm that they work with. Are you the type of guy who wakes up at 5 a.m. and you're in your
Oh
studio
no.
working? What's your process?
Well, as you had mentioned earlier with the Lands End Inn, that has thrown a huge loop into the process. I think my favorite question that people ask is like, "What's your typical day like?" And I always say atypical because it's you can be moving furniture, painting, you could be shopping, with groceries, whatever. Like, but I try to work 7 days a week, pretty much all year, and I like to be in the studio um, fairly early in the morning and work till like 4 or 5 if I can.
Oh, you're very prolific because you're able to create a lot of work. Because
I'm very driven.
yeah, because sometimes you tell me, "Oh, I have this show coming up in Tennessee, and I need to send 80 paintings," and I think,
Yes.
"Holy, I make about 80 paintings in a year."
You should paint with a knife.
Well, that's another thing. You paint only with a painting knife. You don't
Mhm.
paint with a paintbrush.
Yes, I have a palette knife that I've had for probably 20 something years. The one I had before that broke, and then, like, a little mechanical pencil that I use to, like, make dots and, really detailed lines.
But you dip
So
your pencil in the paint?
mhm,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And yeah, that's something I've had since, like, high school, so
Yeah, but the way you paint is you can tell right away that it's a work by you. The way you use the knife and like, what's the word? Stippling? when you do all,
Stippling, yeah.
stippling, when you do all these dots. You have a very specific style. You can tell right away that it's from you.
Thank you, and I think that's, like, a really important thing in the art. There's so much art, especially here, and to have something that's extremely recognizable is just amazing that happened. Like, people do see a painting and they're like, "That's a Trevor."
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and I love that. I love that, like, I'm not painting the typical no knock against, you know, the landscapes and the boat scenes and whatever, but in the water, but it's a very recognizable style.
And you're just doing it in your own way.
Yeah.
You're still painting the boats, but you're balancing them on top of
Yeah, and maybe they'll have a cantaloupe boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
But you are represented all over the place. That's one thing that I always admire about you. It's not just that you have, one gallery here. You have how many galleries in the country representing you?
7 places right now.
7 places.
Yeah.
That's something a lot of artists, they aim for, that they want to have their work represented nationwide or further than that.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, how did you achieve that?
It's kinda started so, I was shown in Nashville for a long time, and that was just natural because I lived there and grew up there, but I was house sitting for some friends who collected Southwestern art and was looking through a magazine at their house and ripped out an ad for this gallery in Scottsdale, and a week later, a friend of mine called and said, "Hey, like, a friend of mine's in town, let's meet up for a drink," or whatever. So we're, like, sitting there, and I'm like, "Hey, what do you do?" And he's like, "I'm like, run a gallery in Scottsdale." And I was like, "Oh, really? That's so crazy. Like, which one is it?" And it was the same thing that I just ripped this ad out for. So he's like, "Hey, just email me photos," and I've been showing there for over 20 years now.
Wow.
And then that just expanded. The Southwest there's so many galleries, and so a lot of those people are kind of touring and looking for other artists, and so that expanded there. And then, of course, Instagram has just exploited that, and places contact me, and because it's a recognizable style that's very unique, I think that makes it a little easier to get places that want work. And my stuff's not really expensive. So they know it sells.
Okay. So do you have any representation here in town in Provincetown?
No, I'm really just I've kind of done everything here. I moved here and opened my own gallery. I've been represented by multiple places in town. I've done things at like the Red Inn and like the restaurant thing, and lately has worked out great for me with especially with the land being next to Land's End, and we have so many people coming through there, and I can just bring them to my studio, and it's kind of a cool experience for the guests there and people that are coming to Chalice and whatever, to come over and see the studio.
So how
Uh,
did you get here in Provincetown?
so I was living in Nashville. This is actually really funny. I had a long-term boyfriend, and his boss would vacation here has vacationed here for decades, and every year he would come back from P-Town and say, "Trevor, you need to break up with that guy and move to P-Town. You're an artist, you need to be in P-Town." And then guess what? We broke up, and I was like, "Huh, what should I do now?" So I came here for Halloween of 2012 and looked at a space. I was like, if I'm going to spend this much money, I'm going to see it. And then said yes, signed the lease, and then put everything in my car in late December with my dog and rented out my condo in Nashville and drove to P Town. And then so I started my own gallery, ran that for a few years, realized it was, as you know, like very much work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, a lot of hours.
So your gallery was where we now have the Radiance Gallery.
Yes.
So in the lower floor of Women Crafts.
Right. And then I also moved to from there I moved to in front of Backer Gallery by Harbor Lounge.
Okay. You don't have any desire to start that up again?
Do you want to come work for me?
No, you work for me. Yeah, we can start like a partnership gallery. We represent each other.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's always the desire there, and I definitely, in my own head, walk by all of these spaces and say, like, oh gosh, if if this was only half the price, I would love to do my own thing there.
Yeah, rental is
So,
extremely, extremely high. So if you have an art gallery, you have to be certain that you can sell multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of art to
yeah.
actually make a profit from after paying that rent. It's extremely high.
Yeah. And this is like why the setup I have made for myself with having these galleries all across the country works so well is because I'm not relying on a very seasonal space to my gallery in Scottsdale, Tucson, Santa Fe. Like we all have different seasons. And so they're selling a lot during the winter here, or Nashville will be selling a lot.
But that's a great thing about your work is that it's really not location specific. The work you do can be sold anywhere because it's not, rooted in, let's say, the dunes or the harbor or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah, and that's also the beauty is that I can do that. Like anything for the West, like I can paint longhorn cows or RVs or whatever is specific to there. And I do a lot of floral work, which sells very well everywhere. Who doesn't want flowers?
Yeah.
you know?
Flowers or
Yeah.
whimsical
Yeah.
animals and something. I was just thinking, looking at your Instagram today, I was thinking, maybe I need to do more. I need to do more animals. I need to get more animals in the gallery somehow.
Maybe I need to do more stripes.
Yeah. Welcome back. Just a reminder to follow us on Instagram at the Art Colony Podcast. And also, if you want to get in touch with us, if you have an idea or if you want to volunteer for the podcast, you can do so at the Art Colony Podcast at gmail.com. And also, if you'd like to help us out, you can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com, and you can look for the Art Colony Podcast there and leave us a little tip because Chad and I, my producer, we do all of this for free. So thank you for your support. Once I went to you a few years ago and I said, I have a big birthday coming up and I'd really like a painting from you. And I have this idea in my head. And you said, no, no commissions.
ah.
So you don't take any commissions.
I really don't. Like I did that for so long and they always just end up as some sort of headache for me. Things can be so easy. Like somebody could say, I love everything you do. And then you do it, and then they don't like it.
Yeah.
And then you have to do another one. So I just prefer and enjoy for my own sanity to do what I want. If it's a watermelon on a parrot, like, and if you like it, buy it.
I had one situation where I worked really hard on a commission and they came back and they said, we don't want it. I said, well, you still have to pay for it. But so I got paid for something that they never took. But yeah, they can be tricky. So in your case, you just say, well, this is what I have right now and find what you like.
Yeah, and because I'm working so much of the time, there usually is a pretty hefty inventory of work available at some place that I can direct them to and they can purchase.
When you say that you have to send 80 pictures to Tennessee for a show, like, how do you do that? Like,
It's the South.
well, no,
Like,
I'm thinking physically, like, how do you ship 80 pictures to Tennessee?
well, the last 3 shows that I've done, I've just driven everything personally. Um, it's enormously expensive to ship that much
Mhm.
work. I do have a service that can do that. It's still expensive, so I'm 2-week vacation, I
Yeah,
guess.
so you just fill up a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that makes it
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, but those houses are big down there. It's not like P-Town.
Yeah. So yeah, is there a different reaction to your work in different markets?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, just, Nashville, my Charlotte gallery, my Arizona place, that the homes are just staggeringly enormous and they want big art. And I sell a ton of really tiny stuff here, which is great. And the tiny work is really wonderful as well because people can pick up. I just had a person in Boston that bought 14 pieces for Christmas presents. And
Wow,
yeah,
that's a lot.
and it adds up.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we mentioned at the very beginning that you're now doing something very special. You and your husband, Ed, are now the owners of the Land's End Inn. If anybody's been to Provincetown before, they know that that's a very unique property. But if they haven't been here,
You should go.
yeah, well, describe it.
Oh gosh, it is very magical, but the interior is I would say almost Harry Potter-esque. There's trinkets and ephemera and all sorts of really just gorgeous pottery. There's only been 7 owners since 1924, and so all of the belongings get passed from owner to owner. It's more of a stewardship, I think, of this iconic landmark place. Yeah, it's magic. I watch people walk up the staircase and their shoulders go down. They've taken this incredible view, and then they, like, see this building that's so wacky.
Well, first of all, it's at the very end of Commercial Street. So it's pretty much that's why it's Land's
Land's
End.
End.
You can't go much further
Yeah.
in Provincetown.
You'll go in the water.
And it's on a hill. So you have this beautiful 360 view all around it of the harbor, of the breakwater, of Long Point. But then the building, it's not a regular square rectangular building.
It truly is a piece of art. It actually, so when it was built, it didn't have all the porches and some of the towers on it. So David Schoolman in the 70s, who owned that till 1995, he died there from AIDS in 1995, was really responsible for putting the porches on, the extra towers, and putting this just artful, thoughtful voice to the property. He threw enormous parties there. There would be like 600 people on the lawn in the spring, and everybody went to it. Everybody dressed up. It was just like iconic.
So do you know from from digging through the history of the inn, there's been a building there since 1904, I
Mhm.
think, and it's been an inn since 1924, you said?
Yep.
Are there any of the Provincetown major players, like in the artists, the writers, the playwrights who stayed there, who partied there?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know any of the names. Again, like I grew up with no TV, so I don't know who people are.
Okay.
There's celebrities that stay there now, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not gay. But you are. Yes, girl. Yeah.
Nowadays, it is. I mean, it is a place where you have a lot of the more important visitors of Provincetown going to stay there.
It's just so beautiful, and I don't know of really any other property in town that has views like that. I've actually never seen a place anywhere where you're on land, you're overlooking water, you can see Long Point land, there's Cape Cod Bay water, and then Wellfleet on the other side, and then the ocean. I mean, it's just insane.
And the views inside are also insane
Totally.
because, as you said, it's a bit Harry Potter-esque. It's layers upon layers upon layers of artwork and knickknacks and fireplaces and lamps, and every single room is different as well.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is, came from Morocco and like these world travels. I mean, it's just gorgeous. The giant jade Buddha is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that
Yeah, I
one.
always have to rub his little tummy.
Where's the Jade Buddha?
It's in when you walk in the front door, you run directly into him. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I've never come through the front
Yeah.
door.
That's okay too.
But yeah, you maintain the tradition of throwing big parties up there.
Like a party.
Yeah. Tell us more about
Trish,
that.
again, but bon vivant, like she likes to party. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just think it's important as an artist, but then also knowing the history of that, where that was a place that people gathered, and I think we're losing so many spaces like that in P Town that it's very important to keep that and keep those traditions alive and keep a safe space for queer people to go and to just have fun and enjoy. Like, we all should enjoy that view. It shouldn't just be for somebody that can afford to stay there. Like, it's gorgeous, and it's all of our home.
But tell us about some of the events you have up there.
So in the summer, we've opened 4 days a week. So the front lawn is open, and we have wine and beer, and anybody can come up and hang out on the lawn. It's just stunning. And then actually starting tomorrow, we'll start our winter version of that. So the first 6 Wednesdays of the year until Valentine's Day, we open the interior, put on a fire, and we have Manhattans and wine. And it turns into like almost like a ski lodge. Everybody in town shows up. It's a raucous, crazy time.
Yeah, I hear a lot of
Fun.
stories about
Oh god.
things happening at Chalice because that's what you call the party. You call the
Yes,
party
yeah.
Chalice because it's always during my business hours, so I mostly miss it. But I hear a lot of great stories about it.
Yeah, and Chalice is named after 2 friends that we've lost, and it's keeping their spirit alive, and they rented a place in the East End, and anytime that they were having an after hours party, the flag went up, and it was the same flag that we used for Chalice, so this is all about creating community space and a party.
Well, I've also been to a lot of parties at the end for the holidays, for special days during the years for people's birthdays. So yeah, you're quite the host.
Thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I need the right dress.
Yeah. And through the inn, you and Ed have also founded a foundation.
Mhm.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the foundation is really just giving back to local charities. Everything has to be P Town oriented. We're all about the arts, and it's really in the spirit of David Schoolman from the 70s. He had started a foundation, and when he passed, from my understanding, that helped create the Provincetown Theater in the East End, which is still going today and still getting money from that, which is really neat and one of my favorite things to do. So,
What do you intend to do with the foundation as you move forward?
all about community. Would love to be able to in the future touch on housing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's very abstract right now, but who knows going forward? I love thinking about the future, and ideally, it would be cool to have some sort of like little arts thing that center there or studio space or I don't know. It could be anything.
So you want to share your studio with other artists?
Come on.
Well, I mean,
If you're an artist and like to party, my studio is for you.
yes, because it has how big's the disco ball in your studio?
It's really big.
Yeah,
I said I want the biggest disco ball you can get. Yeah,
it's like 6 feet in
it's pretty
diameter.
big.
It's
Yeah.
pretty big,
I
yeah.
think some days I think it's gonna beam me up.
Yeah. And
So,
that's right next to the Land's End
mhm.
Inn. So
Yes.
you're right
Yeah.
there all the time. So
Yeah.
do
Always on call.
so the inn's visitors, do they end up in your studio as well?
There's time. We very purposefully didn't put fences up, and we have some really interesting art that and sculptures. So it's people are always curious, and I think that the beauty of this town is that you can kind of walk through and go anywhere, and nobody's really gonna be upset with you. So it's just cool, and it was kind of all modeled off of like the Suzanne's Garden and the East End.
I was wondering with your foundation, have you thought of creating something like artist residencies?
Well, I mean that would be ideal, yeah. And it's all so new, and yeah, we don't have the space right now to do that, but that would definitely be up there.
So I was thinking, you could have artists from all over the country, all around the world, maybe come stay in your rooms. I'm giving you ideas now. Come stay in your rooms like off season when there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine staying in those rooms that are so opulent and so covered in all sorts of artifacts and then having the views? I don't know, just an idea.
Gaston's the general manager.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any big changes, big plans coming up with the Land's End Inn?
No, I mean it's such an enormous property, and it always is. There's always something going on. So this is the season where we're kind of repainting rooms and doing some carpet and upkeep.
If people want to learn more about the Land's End Inn, where should they go?
Landsendinn.com.
And you get to see all the wonderful pictures of this extremely unique building. And there's also a part in the website that tells you the whole history of the
Mhm.
place.
Yep, and my husband Ed put a book out of the entire history. We inherited a ton of photographs and ephemera from the purchase, and we're able to put together this book, and it's really incredible.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you can actually get that at Pam. It's online.
Speaking of Pam, I saw that you're on the board.
Yeah, I'm super responsible.
What does that entail?
I'm not sure.
Well, you get to play an active
I'm the
role
new
in
person. Yeah.
okay,
So
you get to play an active role in the Provincetown Art Association and Museum.
yeah, it's really neat. I mean, it's given me an opportunity to just meet people I wouldn't typically meet in town. Um, and I did get to see the collection, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm open to possibilities with that. So.
Did you submit for the jury show just now?
No, I'm busy.
Okay. So what's coming up for you?
So my next kind of big thing is I'm working on new art. I've been doing a collaboration with Plush. Well, not Daniel Hammond store in the East End, which is used to be called Plush. And they're putting my art on their clothing. A lot of like cashmere sweaters and just really cool, nice product. So that'll be Memorial Day weekend, I think, is their new launch. And then I have a big show in Nashville in November. So my last one I did 2 years ago now, 2024. And it was really sweet. Like I think 13 people from P-Town showed up. We terrorized that little town.
And if people would like to see your work, because we can describe the toucans and the RVs and the jackrabbits and all these things, but it's a whole different thing to look at it and see
Course, yeah.
how much they're filled with joy and quirkiness. Where can people see them?
You'd go on my Instagram. It's Trevor Mikula, Mikula. No website. No,
No website.
no.
Why not?
It's too hard to keep up with.
Okay.
I'm really just producing so like I love the Instagram model. I do so much work. It's hard for me to upload work constantly. So like I can do that all on my phone. I literally do my entire business on my phone. It's pretty wild.
Hmm.
Just snap a photo, crop it, send it to a gallery, say, "Do you want this?" Like, kind of blows my mind that technology has gotten so quick.
Yeah, and it's made life much easier for artists.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a little like Nikon, and you'd have to like download your images, and then crazy.
Yeah. Well, it was great to have you over.
Thank you. I'm glad I finally made it.
Yeah, because you're such a busy man.
Time to
So,
make dinner.
yeah. So if you want to see more of Trevor's work, Trevor Mikula
Mhm.
on Instagram, and you can just stop by the Land's End Inn. And people just
I'm
stop by
usually
and walk
there.
around.
It's typically like, yeah, especially in the summer, it's easier. I mean, we typically have a full house, so the interior is fairly small. So, but if I'm there, sure,
Oh, good.
why not? Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us, and see you all at the Land's End Inn.